We don't ask for special treatment or handouts. We just want to be free.
The western provinces of Canada just pulled the nuclear option, and they are literally in the process of breaking up Canada.
Indigenous leaders in Manitoba gathered on Friday to condemn
province to better protect Alberta from any current or future hostile policies of the federal government.
Western provinces just announced. Shocking WEXIT. Bombshell. The Western provinces just pulled the trigger on a WEXIT bombshell that's shaking Canada to its core. Ottawa thought a single no would silence the separation talk forever. But Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and even British Columbia just unleashed a shocking move that flips the entire game. This isn't a debate anymore. The Western provinces have changed the rules, and Canada may never look the same again.
Alberta, Saskatchewan, and even British Columbia just made history by formally coordinating their separation strategy from the rest of Canada.
For years, frustration in the West has been simmering, but Ottawa just set off a chain reaction it can't control. When the federal government flat out denied any chance of separation or greater autonomy, it thought one no would silence the West forever. It didn't.
In the border city of Lloyd. Now, the key here is that this meeting wasn't symbolic. This was two Western provinces coming together.
Within hours, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba hit back with a joint declaration. If Ottawa refuses to give them autonomy, they'll take it themselves. There's no waiting, no begging, and no backing down this time.
Well, you have to understand just how damaged Alberta is by the fact that we didn't get pipelines built. If we had built Northern Gateway, if we'd built Keystone and we'd built Energy East, we'd have 2.5 million barrels more per day of production.
At the center of this political earthquake is Alberta. This is where the spark was lit, and Ottawa didn't see it coming. For decades, Alberta has complained about Ottawa's chokehold on pipelines, taxes, and energy, but now those complaints have turned into action.
So, in some ways, what we've already done is we are exercising our authority in our full range of constitutional jurisdiction.
In 2022, Premier Danielle Smith introduced the Alberta Sovereignty within a United Canada Act, granting Alberta the authority to ignore federal laws it deems harmful to the province. Ottawa slammed it as reckless. Alberta framed it as survival.
Is all in on independence from Ottawa. In fact, he declared the day that Carney won that election.
Then came Bill 54 in 2025, and this one changed everything. By slashing the threshold for citizen-led referendums from 20% to just 10%, Smith handed Albertans a powerful tool to demand a vote on full separation. But that's where things get complicated. Treaty 6. First Nations have launched a lawsuit, arguing that any referendum on Alberta's independence could violate constitutionally protected treaty rights.
Weekend, and I've got more breaking news for you to make it even more amazing. Hold on your hats.
If this showdown escalates, Canada could be staring down one of the biggest constitutional battles in its history, a direct collision between Indigenous sovereignty and federal authority, with Alberta right at the center. This isn't just a policy tweak. It's Alberta handing its people the trigger to decide their future, and Ottawa can't stop it. Ottawa thought the conversation was dead, but Alberta just brought it roaring back. And this time, Alberta is holding all the cards. And here's the twist. Alberta isn't acting alone anymore.
This was two Western provinces coming together to formalize their mutual intention in officially declaring independence from Ottawa's economic colonialism.
It has teamed up with Saskatchewan, sinking energy approvals, trade strategies, and carbon tax revenues. Together, they're deliberately cutting Ottawa out of the equation. The message couldn't be clearer. Alberta isn't asking for autonomy anymore. Alberta is taking it.
That Bill number 88, the Saskatchewan First Act, be now introduced and read a first time.
Saskatchewan has matched Alberta's pace with bold, calculated moves. In 2023, Premier Scott Moe rolled out the Saskatchewan First Act, reclaiming the province's exclusive authority over natural resources, environmental regulations, and energy projects.
Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe is inviting all provinces to join the new West Partnership Trade Agreement. It's the latest push to reduce barriers to interprovincial trade.
But Moe isn't stopping there. He's pushing for an expanded New West Partnership Trade Agreement, a revived Western Trade Pact aimed at tearing down interprovincial barriers and strengthening regional economic independence.
Pipeline cancellations, tightening of regulations, tax grabs from Ottawa. They've hammered their economy.
And Saskatchewan's defiance goes even further. Instead of funneling federal carbon tax revenues to Ottawa, it now redirects those funds straight into its own provincial climate initiatives. Even more strategically, the province is aligning legislation and project approvals with Alberta to create a two-province economic powerhouse that Ottawa can't afford to ignore. The message couldn't be clearer. The West is done waiting. By tightening trade and investment ties, Saskatchewan is laying the groundwork for a self-sufficient Western economy capable of thriving, with or without federal oversight.
Manitoba, they've all started coordinating trade, energy, infrastructure, and labor mobility without federal intermediaries.
While Alberta and Saskatchewan lead the charge, Manitoba is playing a quieter but strategic role. Premier Wab Kinew hasn't gone all in, but Manitoba has joined select talks on resource coordination and infrastructure planning with its western neighbors. Its position is critical. Manitoba is the bridge between the prairies and the east. If Alberta and Saskatchewan keep pushing forward, Manitoba could become the link that strengthens a united Western bloc.
In reaction, Manitoba would be geographically cut off from eastern Canada. BC would face massive economic pressure to join the Western Bloc or risk isolation.
British Columbia, meanwhile, hasn't officially joined the autonomy push, but its role is too important to overlook. BC controls Canada's most critical export gateways, including Vancouver, Prince Rupert, and Kitimat. While the provincial government stays neutral for now, grassroots pressure is growing, especially in the north and interior. Frustrations over pipelines, environmental restrictions, and Ottawa's policies are fueling a rising sense that BC could be pulled into the fight sooner than expected.
Divisional governments, we're talking control over resources, taxation, law enforcement, even infrastructure. Every area Ottawa's been accused of mishandling for years. And for the first time, this is the real big development here.
Before we dive deeper, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Trust me, you'll want to stay ahead of this because what's coming next could reshape Canada's future in ways nobody saw coming.
Brexit involving the inevitable separation of the Western provinces.
Put it all together and you can see what's happening. The Western provinces are quietly building a powerful alliance. Alberta and Saskatchewan are leading boldly. Manitoba is testing the waters, and BC's economic weight keeps it in play by syncing legislation, managing resources collectively, and bypassing Ottawa's oversight. The West is creating a parallel power structure inside Canada, one Ottawa can't control.
Decided that if any province holds a successful referendum with a clear majority, Ottawa is legally required to negotiate a separation.
And Ottawa knows it. Behind closed doors, emergency meetings are underway in Calgary and Regina. Federal officials are scrambling for solutions, but every move risks backfiring. Push too hard, and you fuel separatist sentiment. Concede too much, and you look weak while inviting other provinces, especially Quebec, to make similar demands. Ottawa is trapped, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
Serious challenge to Canadian unity in a generation. Ottawa may indeed be losing the West for good.
Meanwhile, Quebec is watching closely. Politicians there are already praising Alberta and Saskatchewan's boldness. If the West proves it can rewrite the rules without leaving Canada, Quebec could demand its own version of autonomy. If that happens, Canada's centralized federal system could begin to unravel from both ends. What started as Ottawa's refusal to negotiate has triggered a shift that could redefine the entire federation.
Resources, power, and respect, which really translate into economic, political, and cultural divides.
And nowhere is this battle more intense than energy. Alberta and Saskatchewan, Canada's energy heartland, are no longer willing to watch billions in investments vanish due to Ottawa's delays and environmental roadblocks. Together, they've built independent frameworks to approve projects, manage royalties, and handle environmental reviews. all without Ottawa's permission. And after a Supreme Court ruling struck down parts of Ottawa's environmental law, they now have the legal muscle to back it up. Saskatchewan channels federal carbon taxes directly into its own climate fund, while Alberta is fast-tracking oil, gas, and renewable projects at a pace Ottawa can't match. Ottawa's grip on Canada's most vital economic engine is slipping fast.
This agreement will see our three provinces advance pipelines and pathways to boost exports of homegrown energy, potash, critical minerals, and agricultural products to markets across Canada and across the world. And when it comes to advancing these goals, it's undeniable that there is strength in numbers. Together, we're taking an unprecedented step to further unify our efforts to get
Piece by piece, the West is rewriting the rules of Confederation without touching the Constitution. Through shared legislation, coordinated budgets, and synchronized policies, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and BC are quietly acting like Ottawa doesn't matter anymore. And that's the real bombshell. Canada isn't breaking apart on paper, but in practice, the West has already redrawn the lines of power. Ottawa's influence shrinks by the day, and the provinces are writing their own rules. But here's the real question. If the Western provinces are rewriting the rules and Ottawa is losing control, what does the future of Canada really look like? Let me know what you think in the comments below.